Minimax time at Glenagorse Park. Conor McCarthy alongside Finn Keneally on the front row with Cian Dewis and Bethany Abbott up in P4. Rufus Hunt and Owen Byatt. Tom Wood and Axel Charpentier with Lewis Thompson there in P9. Tom Canning in P12. Jensen Butterfield in front of Mark Kimber in the mid-pack. Keep an eye on Jordan Collard as well. So there's plenty of drivers to watch through the field as we wait for the lights to come up. Oh, hang on a minute. Looks like a couple of drivers may have jumped the start there, Alan. It was a little bit too tight. And as a result, lots of drivers gaining ground, a lot of drivers losing. It's a bit of a shuffle of the deck.
William Pettit leads. He's gone from 10th to 3rd through turn 1, and he already leads the race. And he's one of the drivers that moved. That was Bethany Abbott getting a little bit of a shove there from Owen Byatt. As they come left-handed now down the hill, under investigation, karts the O plate and 21. Tom Canning in behind him there. Let's have a look at the replay. We've circled William Pettit.
That is Pettit.
You see he's clearly moving. Look at the karts on the left-hand side behind the poleman. They're moving as well. Ooh. But Pettit's definitely looks like he's starting. Now, we can't see the lights here from this angle, but certainly if you look at the man that moved first, certainly Pettit was the man that moved first. He leads it from Tom Canning. Canning was right behind him. We couldn't see Tom Canning from that shot, but both of those drivers are under investigation, and they've already been given a 5-place penalty. Basically, they've full started and they're going to get a 5-place penalty at the end of this race. Now, they won't know that at the moment, but they've just got to carry on. And they'll have to argue the toss in the clerk's office after the race, no doubt. But looking from that caption, difficult to see. We didn't see the lights, of course. The clerks of the course will get the opportunity to look at the onboard camera footage, possibly. They may use that to support their case as Tom Wood comes down the inside. Oh, and he's taken off. Owen Byatt in the 38. Conor McCarthy's had to take a detour. He's gone onto the grass, got back on, but he's lost a load of places. Conor McCarthy, the poleman, he won the earlier pre-final, which was in wet conditions, Jake. Half the field had slicks on, half had wets, and Conor McCarthy, in that race, filled his boots. But here's the replay. Here's Wood down the inside of McCarthy, straight into the back of Owen Byatt. Now, if that's been seen by the officials, that will be a black flag if it's been seen. And because it's sort of in the midfield there, potentially it may not have been seen. If it's not seen, the officials can't deal with it. I did speak to the clerk of the course. We have a look at Tom Canning there in second place. I spoke to the clerk of the course, Alan Bryant, earlier in the day, and I was talking to him about the replays that we see on TV. There's a move effectively for the lead through to third place, but effectively that's the lead. I think that's Finn Keneally going through for the lead spot there. Other places being made up through the field. I spoke to Alan Bryant, the clerk of the course, about the issue of seeing things on TV. We, of course, get the opportunity to slow things down. We can see things in slow motion. They, of course, do not get the opportunity to see slow motion replays or even the camera footage on the day. The only camera footage they can look at is the onboard footage from the kart. So it's easy for us to slow things down, look at replays and think, well, the officials didn't see something or they missed it. That's just the way it is. On the weekend, they can only deal with what is seen and reported.
What a dramatic start to this race in Minimax, and it's just getting more and more so as Owen Byatt, he's driving angry, of course, trying to get himself back up the field, and he goes into the back of Jordan Collard, just a little bit too eager there as they're both chasing down Bethany Abbott. We have to mention Bethany. What a cracking weekend she is having. Great to see her at the sharp end of the field for once. And third position on the road is Finn Keneally, who of course is now going to transform that into a win if he stays where he is behind these two who are going to get the penalty. So I'm genuinely struggling to remember a more controversial and chaotic start to a race, but it's just so full of intrigue.
Well, that's how things stand at the moment with the 5-place penalty. You have to assume that these two may well appeal that decision. They may win, they may not, but at the moment it's Finn Keneally effectively, currently third on the track, you should say, Jake, but he really effectively is the race leader currently as they come up into the compression complex. Great overall view of the circuit here, beautiful circuit, the most picturesque circuit in karting in the world, bar none. Don't debate me, everybody, you know I'm right.
I have to say, it is absolutely beautiful. It's nice to know that it's less than an hour's drive away from my own humble abode. Maybe my 3 children may well start to learn karting at this. Well, actually thinking about it, maybe not. It might be quite an expensive exercise by the time we get to number 3.
A very expensive exercise for 1, never mind 3. It's still Pettit leads Canning down the hill. Finn Keneally He's getting closer to these two. Now, he knew that these two were going to get a penalty, Jake, and would look behind him. He wouldn't even bother trying to make a move. He'd know he'd have the lead, and if this comes down to the business end, he doesn't want to get caught up in an incident when he's actually effectively leading the race.
Well, it's a difficult situation because a lot of people will look at it retrospectively and see that those two drivers obviously getting the penalties, but it looked to me as though there were not just two drivers making a bit of a jump start. It looked like there was at least half a dozen, possibly
there
even
were
a dozen.
others, there's no doubt, but of course it's difficult for the officials, isn't it, to look at it. They will probably take the view that the karts that moved first
kind of triggered everything else. Maybe.
Yeah, exactly. They've triggered everything else. That shouldn't make a difference, but certainly from the footage we looked at, it looked like William moved first. He may argue the toss about that. We can't see the lights from that camera, but certainly he was the first kart moving. Whether the lights were on or off, well, the officials think they were off. They weren't. He shouldn't have been moving at that point. He was. They've penalised him and the man in behind him as well. And look at this. Finn Keneally certainly get closer to them.
Yep, Cian Jewis in fourth position, losing some ground as well. And he's actually got pressure behind him. And he's now got Axel Charpentier trying to make the move to fourth position on the road, and that was beautifully done by the Frenchman. He absolutely timed the move to perfection in that flat-out right-hander on the run to the tighter apex up the hill. And as they drop down once again, Cian Jewis is now looking at, well, he'll be disappointed when he comes across the line and finds out he's in fifth position if he stays where he is, but he'll be even more surprised when he collects some silverware at the end of it all.
Yep, Finn Keneally right on the back of Tom Canning now. He will not know that these two have been penalised. He'll make the move as soon as he can. Probably now down into the final turn. Yes! Classic move. Final turn, Glanigorse Park. One of the most difficult overtaking manoeuvres in karting on that final turn. You've got to set it up in Devil's Elbow. Did it perfectly, really clean. But look at that. One move has given William Pettit a good 6 to 8 kart lengths lead now.
Well, what if Finn Keneally could actually beat these two on the road, never mind on the aggregate once the 5th place penalty has come into effect. If Finn Keneally can take on William Pettit and Tom Canning and beat them both, that's going to be very satisfying. Even if they get the penalty, he'll be so delighted with that. Meanwhile, Jewis stepping up onto the back of Charpentier, and they're being chased down rapidly by Tom Wood, who is obviously trying to forget that little mistake that happened earlier on. He hasn't been penalised for it, so it's ancient history as far as he's concerned. And he is now, of course, trying to get himself onto what is effectively the podium. It's not at the moment, it's still on the road in his mind, a 6th position.
And Tom's an honest lad, Tom. He'll know he got away with one there. He clearly run into the back of Owen Byatt, knocked him off, and he'll be thinking, well, I'm not seeing a warning flag, I got away with that. He's a real honest lad, Tom.
Yeah.
But listen, you just got to get on with it. It happens, it's not deliberate, he's not that sort of driver. But again, it comes back to the fact if it's been seen by the officials, they will deal with it. They'll look at it in the slow motion replay here in this programme after the event and think, we should have seen that one, or it's a shame we didn't get that reported. If it had been reported, would have dealt with it in a different way. But they can only deal, the officials, with what they get reported. We've got to change there, Jake.
Yep, Charpentier and Jewis having a great battle, and Tom Wood, having set the fastest lap, is now right in that mix as well. We could see some quite dramatic changes going into this final lap. Finn Keneally right on the back of the O-plate, William Pettit. Garrett Webb leading rookie in this race. Tyler Chesterton, the hard charger, having made up 16 places on the grid. He's done a cracking job. Big shout out too for Joe Turney. Started P19. He's currently P7 on the road, just up behind Tom Wood. So great drive from him. Back at the front though, William Pettit is the man in the lead of the race on the road. But once he gets that penalty, it's going to be the man just behind him, Finn Keneally. Although Keneally may lose the place on the road to Tom Canning at the bitter end, he doesn't. So Pettit thinks he's won, but he hasn't. Here comes the rest of the field. Joe Turney round the outside, just in behind Jewis and ahead of Wood by a couple of hundredths of a second. That's going to play dividends once the penalties comes into play. Look at that. Keneally wins from Charpentier and Jewis. Turney up to 4th. Makes up 15 places in all. Tom Wood in 5th, from William Pettit down to 6th. Thompson is 7th, Canning down to 8th, from Tyler Chesterton and Zach Robertson. A controversial race, and Finn Keneally must be absolutely delighted.
Finn, full start by William Pettit, as judged by the clerk of the course. That's moved you up to first place. Just talk us through the race generally from your point of view, though.
Yeah, Will got through at the start with Tom Canning, and they managed to break away from me and Cian. I went past Cian and I managed to catch Tom and Will, and then I got past Tom with a few laps to go. and Will started to defend, but I knew he jumped the start, so I knew I didn't really need to get past him.
Just the right combination of action and drama from Minimax. Junior Rotax up next around the twists and turns of Glenagorse Park. What'll happen? Find out in a mo.